Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Shcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Shruti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, 46th Sloka. Bhagavanam Brahmanastanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Guna Deham Sarvasattva Guna Uddam Vedam Prithvi Vritti Lakshanam Bhavanam Brahmastanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Guna Uddhi Prithvi Vritti Lakshanam Bhagavanam Brahmastanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Gunabdi Prithvi Vritti Lakshanam Brahmanam Brahmastanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Gunobdeda Prithvi Vritti Lakshanam Bhavanam modeling forms Brahmana the Supreme Brahman Sthanam constructing places of residence Dharanam containing substance Sat Visheshanam distinguishing the open space Sarva all Sattva of existence Guna qualities Ubdeha the place of her manifestation Prithvi earth Vritti the functions Lakshanam the characteristics. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The characteristics of the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman, by constructing places of residency, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, earth is a place of sustenance for all elements. Reading a purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Different elements such as sound, sky, air, fire, water can be perceived in earth. Another feature of earth especially mentioned here is that earth can manifest different forms of Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this statement of Kapilas, it is confirmed that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, has innumerable forms, which are described in scriptures. By manipulation of earth and its products such as stone, wood, and jewels, these forms of Supreme Lord can be present before our eyes. When a form of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is manifested by the presentation of a statue made of earth, it is not imaginary. The earth gives the Lord's earth gives shape to the Lord forms as described in the scriptures. In Brahma Samhita, there is a description of Lord Krishna's lands, the variegatedness of the spiritual abode, and the forms of Lord playing a flute with his spiritual body. All these forms are described in scriptures, and when they are thus presented, they become worshipable. They are not imaginary, as Mayavadi philosophy says. Sometimes the word Bhagwan is misinterpreted as imagination, but Bhagwan does not mean imagination. It means giving actual shape to the description of Vedic literature. Earth is the ultimate transformation of all living entities and their respective modes of material nature. I'll just read the word to word once again. Bhagwan, the modeling forms. Brahmana, the supreme Brahman. Sthanam, constructing the place of residence. Dharanam, containing substance. Satvisheshanam, distinguishing the open space. This is like a tale. Yeah.
Don't go. I just came to India.
Thank you, Shankar Prabhu, for giving me an opportunity to put me in the list test today, so that I get an opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam and glorify Srimad Bhagavatam.
You have to speak into the mic.
Okay.
Loudly, you have to speak it. You cannot hear it.
Sure, Prabhu.
All the three words should be about it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. It gives some opportunity for me to glorify, understand Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam.
Asking for a blessing.
Prabhu. Yeah, I seriously seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnava devotees, so that I can just, whatever I have read, I can just speak, so that I can glorify Bhagavatam and understand, apply in my day-to-day life. So this is from the third canto, Status Quo, chapter 26 and 46 sloka. Here Prabhupada writes, I was like, when I read this first, I was thinking about like how earth is so useful for us, right? We are trying to abuse earth so badly. That's what first, when I just read this sloka, it just came up to my mind. And like I was just going through yesterday's from Prabhuji's class, just want to continue from, I just want to recap one or two lines what really touched me. Prabhuji mentioned we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, because the reason is Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to understand or distinguish things between what is correct and what is not, who is a devotee, who is a demon. How we are always trying to enjoy things, but Srimad Bhagavatam will give you the real true sense of what is the real goal of life, right? So and that is how when we attend these Bhagavatam classes, it will give us a it will give us a way so that we can practice our devotional life. So that was very really touching point yesterday I had from this class. And Prabhuji was mentioning Kali Yuga, the degradation is so bad. Everybody wants to enjoy this material. Everybody wants to enjoy, and they don't know what is the reaction for their enjoyment. 1% enjoyment, actually 0.1% enjoyment, 99.9% of suffering. This is what everybody is suffering. And today it's a long weekend. Everybody is enjoying. Everybody wants to go here and there, travel outside the places, travel here and there, enjoy, right? That is whole the civilization is being for moving forward right now. So unless until this message of Srimad Bhagavatam is spread, until people accept this and take up this message, it's very hard for them to really enjoy the true happiness, right? What is true happiness? Happiness is always to yeah, one nice point which I'm able to recollect is our happiness is not having any miseries or happiness. That is only one point today we are thinking of. That is only our happiness, and no suffering today. I have a job, I have a family, no health issues, no COVID, no nothing. Oh yeah, that means today is happy. You want to enjoy, go out. You go out and people, my experience traveling on long weekend is either you get stuck in traffic jams, either your car gets punctured, you get like you're suffering in the midnight somewhere, no hotel, no room, properly suffer, come back, but come outside and say, where did you go? I went to Mekina Island, I enjoyed so much. But there is no, honestly, there's not much happiness. You have to go so far, travel 6 hours, nothing, there's nothing to watch. And people in between, there will be tire punctures. I've seen multiple tires stopping and all this stuff. So there's no happiness, and people come outside and say, I enjoyed this, and this fellow will inspire 10 people to go. Anytime May is two things. One is people travel to Holland to go to Tulip, and other are this one. These are the only two things people do. They go, there is nothing, 5 hours travel, 5 to 5, 10 hours travel, and come back suffering. And these people will inspire everyone. That is only happiness of it. But and next day they'll take off from office. So yeah, coming back to our sloka, I really loved how Prabhupada has really in such a two paragraphs. Prabhupada has covered everything. How Earth is giving sustenance for the life, and how we use Earth, these five elements to construct different things, and how we use them. So that is one thing Prabhupada focused on this purport. Another one is how Prabhupada is speaking about the difference of Mayavadi philosophy. Right, so these are the two main things which I thought, and how do we develop our relationship with Krishna? These are the two or three main points which when I read this, it really touched me actually. How do we develop our relationship with Krishna? Copy paste. So if we take, right, I was just thinking how in IFH ISKCON Farmington Hills, we used every resource available to construct a temple for Krishna. So everybody who are around our Farmington Hills can come and get the benefit, right? How do we, and what was the reason? One day Shamanand Prabhu from Bombay, right, he came and he was mentioning, hey, there are 5 or 6 temples close by. What is the reason for us to start another temple? Our reason is people come here, like during our inauguration, right? Prabhuji mentioned one point. He said, I'll be happy even if one person comes and water Tulsi plant, right? So that they can burn their sin just by offering three three drops of water and do three circumambulate Tulsi Maharani. They're getting so much benefit. This is our goal. We don't want to make the shops rich by bringing so many flowers or something like that, right? There are so many temples around, but still another important point what Prabhuji mentioned was he wants to build a community where people can come and serve, stay happily, right? I always, whenever I meet somebody new, this is my always point which I always try to mention also. What is that we are doing something different here, right? We are building a community where everybody comes and read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, understand. And when what happens, a family which comes together and prays together, they stay together. The same principle applies when you're a family of wife, husband and children, and the same thing even applies when we are group of 100 devotees or 100 families, right? And even every child needs a village to be grown. So this we have built a nice communities. We are trying to build a community, putting Krishna in the center. So, and we are explaining to the people whoever, and everybody is getting an opportunity. If somebody comes into a temple, they get to do some kind of devotional activity, either Shravanam, Kirtanam. Out of the 9 devotional process, they can start doing something. Something is starting. So that was a goal why we have started this temple, and this is a very apt sloka where we speak on this, right? Very apt sloka where we are speaking about how earth is providing us everything, and and the goal is, if we use everything in Krishna service, that is bhakti. If we are not using it for Krishna service, it is demonic. Like, what is the difference between a devotee and a demon? Anything we are using for Krishna, that is bhakti. If we are not using for Krishna, we are using for our own sense gratification. Yesterday Prabhuji was mentioning, sense gratification. People try to enjoy, and suffer. And what is the cause for why do people really want to go and out enjoy? Because their minds are not trained. Mind is cause of bondage, or mind is cause of liberation. So if you train your mind properly in Krishna service, that is the highest goal of life. If you're not training your mind properly in Krishna service, there's no use in it. So you're literally wasting your human form of life, where Krishna has given you such a nice opportunity. Understand what is what is understand what is purpose of life. Atato Brahma Jignasa. What is this purpose of life, right? Atato Brahma Jignasa. How do we understand why am I here? Why am I suffering? Um, not not only like suffering, right? We always try to concentrate on suffering. No, not only that, but what is purpose of life, and how do I make things more better and better in my life, right? So every day you want to do something higher. If you're starting a job as a small junior analyst or something like that, you want to go to a senior position, manager, director, whatever it is. So this is a process of elevation. Bhakti, but one good part of bhakti is that there is no step by step process. You can just directly jump. to we can directly jump to the last stage, right? And reach Krishna, go to Golok Vrindavan or Vaikunta. Vaikunta is a place where there is no misery, actually. So that is the goal of life. So coming back onto the sloka, Prabhupada is mentioning Brahman. So Krishna can Krishna can be perceived in three forms of life. One is absolute truth can be perceived in three forms. One is Brahman. Brahman means absolute truth. Brahmeti, Parmeti, Bhagavan iti shabdate. The supreme Brahman means Krishna, who we can perceive him. That should be our goal of life. So some people always say Krishna, Shri Radha Gopi Janwala Bhagwan ki jai, Nitai Patitan Gaur Hari Bhagwan ki jai. When we consider Krishna as person, we can construct a building, nice building for him to come and stay with us. Okay. When we consider Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, he's a person, so we can exchange relationship with him. But when we think him as impersonal, right, what can we construct? We cannot construct anything for him. It's imaginary. People think it is always imaginary. No, it's not imaginary. Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. So even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ishvara Parama, Krishna, Sarva Bhutane Hrudeshu Arjuna. So Krishna, that is a worshipable deity for us, right? So if for impersonalists, they cannot worship anything. What will they worship? They'll just be worshipping on their mind. That is what it is. Everybody has a desire to construct, if you have a start a family, right, everyone has a desire to construct something for their house, gruha. They want to build something. Hey, what can I build? Everybody wants to build a small house, big house. But if you make this desire if you make your consciousness, if you move your consciousness from materialistic things to the devotional service, hey, let me do something for Krishna, let me build a temple for him, or let me take books and go out for preaching, let me help in preaching, go for book distribution. So that when we develop that kind of a consciousness, it's very easy, right? When we develop that, then that is a complete shift in our consciousness. We are shifting our consciousness from demonic nature to the devotee, bhakta. So if you're like recently, I was hearing one example from my office. Yesterday, when I was speaking with a person, from my office, I felt this is a very apt example. He has a very nice home in Nova here, and then he was mentioning to me, his family wants to go for a bigger house. This house is 25 100 square feet, and he wants to go to something like a 4,000 square feet, right? So it's like double the cost of what he has to spend. And hey, why do you want to really go? You cleared all your loan here. Why do you want to go for? He says, all the people who came on H1B recently, everybody's buying big houses. I came here for past 20 years. If I don't buy a big house, it doesn't look good. Yeah. And one good part was during this COVID, everybody jobs were nice, nice, and everybody was getting, some big high scale pay scales, nobody thought that, I think at least I came when in 2007, and I have seen this big tough situation of 2009, 11 recession, right? It's not about your skill, right? Companies were not doing good, so everybody were out of jobs. And now what happened? All of a sudden, he lost job. He lost first job, and then he found another job that is also gone. Now it's another third job he's working, and in this whole thing, he got some, I think, high blood pressure. Now he cannot work properly, and he was mentioning, why did I really take this step, right? And I was and in the same thing, I was
Step to buy a house.
What's the project?
Step to buy a house.
Yeah, he brought a house. He bought a house with 1 million. Now he lost his job after buying. He has to pay EMIs. So it's such a pressure, right? Now, how will he pay for all this? And he was thinking, I was so happy, cleared all the loan. So with basic savings, I could have, taken care of the family. Now it is paying EMI $5,000 per month is a big thing, So you have to make sure you have to work hard, all this. So on the other hand, I was thinking, I know one devotee here, he got some extra money. He came out and gave a big check. And like somebody was saying, hey, you can use that money to buy a bigger house. But still, no, he was like, okay, I'm happy with the smaller house. I can clear off, I can get retired in 45 years. and just practice bhakti peacefully, right? So I was comparing, hey, what is the consciousness of a person outside in a material world, and what's the consciousness of a person in spiritual, like somebody who is practicing bhakti, right? Yeah, that actually, that is very, and I really loved that devotee, what he has done, right? Basically, you're not unnecessarily increasing your necessities, and you're not unnecessarily putting yourself in pressure. You can at least practice bhakti. By the time you come home, your EMI is only something which is revolving around you. So that is how this whole Krishna consciousness can help us. uh, so by just taking up Krishna consciousness, we are not only helping somebody to go back home, back to Godhead, also we are also helping them to lead a peaceful and happy material life. By coming here, you understand so many, you come to attend kirtan, you attend, you're in association of devotees. I was jokingly saying to somebody, hey, we are also actually not a temple or a community center. We are employment exchange also. We have doctors, we have attorneys also in our groups. We have people from engineering, IT, whatever background, right? We all try to we don't have anything. If we can help you, we'll obviously help you. So we have made this nice place using all the earthly substances, right? All these five elements, Panchabhutas, in constructing a nice center. We are also worshipping Radha Gopijana Vallabha, Nitai Patipan Gaur Hari, and Srila Prabhupada. And also we are trying to help society too. So what is that? And see, another point which is really important right now is how do we protect that? That is right now, the whole world is looking at. Igal Krishna Prabhuji mentioned in one of his sessions, and whenever he goes to New York, he always mentions. Prabhuji said there's a big billboard in New York. Earth needs an advocate. Earth needs somebody who can protect it, right? And I think maybe that inspired him to start this environmental day, Earth Day, right? We're trying to do our best to educate people on Earth, what is causing pollution, and how we can protect ourselves. It's not like something with a material cause. Obviously putting Krishna in center, and we want to educate people, use this opportunity to understand. And I think, yeah, just remembering his one of the class, Prabhuji mentioned, this generation, what they have done, they have used all the resources of what was saved by our previous generations, and whatever resources are left now is also being used. And we are not only using whatever is available now, we are also using the things from the next generation, for the upcoming generation, right? And some point which really touched me is Prabhuji says, oh, he gets phone call, somebody is sick, can you please pray for my father? Or some person has passed away, can you pray for him? And another is, if within another hour he'll get another call. What is that? Hey, we are blessed with a baby boy or a baby girl, can you please name this kid or bless for them? And Prabhuji says, whenever I see them, how is the world will be next 50 years, right? We are trying to abuse the resources today, and how we can use it. And Prabhuji always says it's really touching points. We need to really think and ponder on this, so we can apply in our day-to-day life. Hey, we should try to make our life simple, and obviously Prabhupada statement, simple living, high thinking, right? How do we protect? And Prabhupada has established, and whenever I see this, right, I feel Prabhupada, you have given us such a nice environment where we can come and practice bhakti. And recently I was actually listening to some lecture, and I was trying to talking with some person, and one person mentioned that today the reason for our suffering is because we have there is so much of baggage we are carrying from previous lives and stuff like that, right? One of the reason. And we are in this country where America goes bombs people at different places, because of that there is so much uncertainty also. And one of the reason for this suffering is, and somebody said, if you have killed a cow, the reaction of killing a cow is so bad that it continues for so many buts and buts, and the life also will become so unstable actually. And I was thinking on that lines, and Prabhupada, because I came to your ISKCON temple, I was able to understand first basic four principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. By doing this, see, by staying in America somewhere or other, because of the social pressure, we go and out and eat something nonsense, right? But because of mercy of Prabhupada, I was able to understand, hey, we should not kill animals. By killing animals, you are not only saving earth, but also we are actually trying to stop so much of bad karma or baggage in your life. By stopping the baggage, what am I doing? By stopping the baggage, my life is becoming better and better. Materially also, it becomes better and better. I was thanking Prabhupada, because of your books, because of all this stuff, I was able to understand this. and practice bhakti. And that made me, I felt I should pass this message to everybody. At least, why do you unnecessarily kill animals and add more baggage, right? Just for sake of small tongue. Why, just for like 2-inch tongue, we are trying to kill an animal. Why should we kill? And just by, see what is it said, right? One of our, the poster we put, right? To get 1 kg meat of beef, we need 16. If X is the quantity of thing needed for getting, for a person to eat, right? We need resources multiplied by 16 into X. So 16 times of resources are required to grow a 1 kg of a beef or meat, right? So we are, what are we doing to feed the cows? We are cutting the forest. Amazon forest is cut, all the trees are cut, we have to grow land, and so much is needed. Just be a vegetarian. If you are vegetarian, you can directly eat nice grains, vegetables. So the amount of resources needed to grow a 1 kg of vegetarian food versus resources needed to grow 1 kg of a meat is 16 times higher. So because of this, we are trying to pollute the planet. We are trying to pollute the planet, and we are abusing the mother earth, actually. So it is, as a followers of Prabhupada also, it's our duty to make sure we educate people on how to protect earth, how to protect soil, right? So this is very, and actually today it has become a very important, and people are liking if anybody speaks about earth. When we go out for book distribution, we are speaking about, when we speak this, people are getting connected, actually. So if we apply in our day-to-day life, we can become a best role examples. We can build a community where this we can build a community where everybody can be inspired and take up Krishna consciousness, and more people can be inspired because of this. So I really felt so happy going through this sloka, actually. So one thing, as I said, right, why do we really need to construct temples? So just going back to our, sorry, just completely deviated from the sloka. Just going back, right? So here Prabhupada says Griha, or the sloka says Griha, building the house. Let's build a house instead of thinking or building our own house for ourselves. Obviously, we need house, for staying, we can build a house. So that's not a problem. But if we can think and change our consciousness building this temple, so what happens? We build a relationship with Krishna, so we can practice bhakti. So that is very much important. So how can we change our consciousness? Oops. What happened? Am I connected?
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, sorry, I got a message. So how do we properly utilize our tendencies? It is, instead of constructing for our own self, if we can think of constructing for establishing deity worship, that is proper utilization. Actually, that is how we should develop our consciousness. So, we have to develop that Krishna Sambandha. So whenever this is there, we can develop, we can offer prayers to the Lord, we can come serve him, we can do deity worship, we can do so many nice stuff where our relationship or Sambandha with Krishna is developed. That should be our consciousness. When I was thinking this sloka, I was thinking from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not only positive relationship, right? There are some examples in Bhagavatam where Kamsa was always thinking, how do I kill Krishna? Still he got the same benefit. He got the benefit, right? He got benefit out of this. So in this example where Krishna, so Kamsa knows that the Krishna will come as eighth child of Devaki and kill him, right? He was trying to kill his sister, but Vasudeva somehow helps, makes a trick, and he tricks Kamsa and says, why are you killing her? If it is eighth child who is going to kill you, why are you so much worried? I'll give you all the children to you, and you can do whatever you wants to do. But Kamsa was always trying to meditate on Krishna. Did somebody was born? What is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And after Krishna was born, Krishna was transferred from the jail to Nanda Baba and Yashodama, right? So he was trying to find Krishna. Where is Krishna? To Vrindavan, and he was, where is Krishna? He's always thinking of Krishna, but not in loving relationship. He was only thinking He was only thinking, how do I kill Krishna? So with that also he has developed a relationship. So even if even if you are not, developing a good relationship with Krishna, still, somehow or be connected with this process. If you can, or somebody, some of our relatives maybe not so inclined to that, but you don't really need to force them to become Krishna consciousness, but we can ask them, we can somehow make them connected, make them remember about Krishna or Bhagavad Gita, or give you some nice picture of Krishna, so they can develop that relationship. Or, actually yesterday I was seeing Prabhuji, he has a Gaurnita happy dolls actually. I think Prabhuji had a desire, during my marriage in 2012, only Prabhuji mentioned, we want to distribute 5,000 Gaurnitais actually. Instead of giving some gift, we can actually, any outsiders, we should give a Gaurnitai happy dolls actually. Just put some water there, and so there's so much mercy. And Prabhuji says, we don't know how much blessings or they get from worshipping, what is this? Laughing Buddha. But if you put Gaurnita in your house and offer a small cup of water, you'll get a lot of blessings. So it develops. That is how we can. So in that sense, coming back to the sloka, right? We are using all the 5 elements. We can nicely construct a nice happy dolls, give as a gift to people. So their uh, relationship will be developed with Krishna. So that was a nice thing. And yesterday I saw devotees, carrying them in book distribution and formats market, right? So it made so much connection with that. This small steps will really help us to develop that relationship with Krishna actually. So when we are developing this relationship, as I said, some people could be favorable to Krishna, some people are not favorable to Krishna. So, we should always also think, how can I make things more favorable for my Krishna consciousness? How to develop, coming for Bhagavatam class, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Kirtan, chanting names of the God. Right. It's very hard when you see kids, little kids, they do, if I ask them to chant, the first question is, why should I chant? It's very hard. They always look for some kind of benefit. Do I get something benefit out of it? And it's very hard for them to pick up. But yeah, somehow we have to connect them to the Krishna consciousness. That's how it's very. So when they become, when they grow big, when they go to college, they're protected from Maya, right? So it really helps them. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ume Rapo Nalo Vayu, right? Buddhirevacha. So our goal should be, we can utilize all the material elements in service of the Lord. So with earth, we can prepare so many forms of the Lord, we can prepare temple of the Lord and so many things. So that should be our consciousness. If we can develop that consciousness, it really helps us to progress. And basically its whole thing is applying whatever we have learned in scriptures, we are applying in our day-to-day life, right? So normally we always think, hey, I'm reading this, where am I going to apply, right? And this sloka is very apt, you like use all the resources and apply in your day-to-day life to progress in your next progress to your devotional life. So this is a very apt sloka actually. If we can meditate on this, it really helps us to do so many great things actually. So, and what is that we have done, if we just take example of how Srila Prabhupada has done, Prabhupada moved out from such a nice place of from Vrindavan, Damodar temple. He came here to US. But what was the reason? In What is the reason he wants to give this Krishna consciousness so people can make their lives better and better? So we should also carry the same mood, And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction is that somebody who is born Pratyache Yati Nagare Grame. So we should take up this philosophy, bhakti movement to as many people as possible and take up and help people to become more and more Krishna consciousness. So that these are some of the points which I thought, which I have just taken notes and I thought I would like share today. Uh, and it really inspired me, hey, we are always trying to end this. I really loved how it's so how Bhagavatam is so apt, right? Narad Muni, Narad Muni speaking to Vasudev, and Vasudev wrote, and this whole sloka today we are imbibing it, and whole world is looking how to protect earth, environmental pollution. So many money is being spent to protect rivers, protect earth, right? There's so much of money. At least if you take Yamuna River, Ganga River, they're spending so much of money to purify water which is coming, because people's hearts are so polluted. Because when our hearts are polluted, even how much money we spend to recycle or refilter, again we're going to redo the same thing. It's like elephant taking bath, right? We try to do some sin, we want to do atonement, again we sin the whole thing. It's a process. And and what is that, if you the, every morning we do Tulsi Aarti. In Tulsi Aarti we go and do three circumambulate Tulsi Maharani in water. Your sins are gone. Killing a Brahmana, the sin of killing a Brahmana is gone. But the tendency, but what is that we have to look at? The tendency to do stop sin is something which we have to develop. When we take up this bhakti process, that tendency will go. People are so crazy right now. I think Ganga Pushkara is happening, right? They go just want to take bath, but again they come out and again restart the whole sinful life. When so that if we can really stop that part, so we can really progress a lot. So I, as a devotee or as a followers of Srila Prabhupada, that is, we should take up time to at least spread this message as much as possible, so people can become more and more happy. So with if the people become happy, our purpose of taking so much time, how much hard work we all have to do when we didn't have temple. So all are like, we had to stay in basement actually when we didn't have temple. So somehow we got this temple here, and we got this temple, and the purpose of goal of temple will be completely be fulfilled. So much energy has been put to build this temple actually. And if we can build a nice, not only like the temple is not just like bricks and walls, right? We want devotees who come and practice kirtan, not for only Indians. We want this to be spread to all over other locals also, so that they can practice bhakti. So we are not building anything for only for some desis or stuff like that. So just to end, I can say, what is that we can do is just like always try to meditate. And if personally, if you take, okay, preaching is something different, but what am I really going to get out of this is I can go back to Godhead. For that, what should I do? I should develop this a taste for holy name. How do I develop taste for holy name? Is something, it's a application, right? How do I develop taste for holy name should come attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, listening about holy name, attending seminars. I think most of our devotees are in Sadhu Sangha today, enjoying, relishing the nectar, right? So this one quotation I would like, I always remember this sloka very much from Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajte anti kalevra tam tam evati kauntaya sada tat bhava bhavita. Constantly remember Krishna. Do things which are favorable for Krishna consciousness. Stop things which are unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. When we do this, our relationship with Krishna is becoming strong. So at the final stage of life, we can remember Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead, to Golok Vrindavan. So that is something which I thought I would like to share today, bro. Sorry, I really, excuse me, I really bored. And I just took some notes and I was just trying to repeat what I have taken. Please add something, bro.
Okay, thank you.
One thing is really apt is, so much is needed right now to protect Earth actually. And I think at least like I think very few people, there are some people who really wants to do, but if you add bhakti to that, the whole thing will change, the consciousness will change. And actually I was reading Prabhupada transcript, and Prabhupada says, you know there is two things. One is demonic people, one is devotee. People who are always looking for sense gratification. They want to build home, they work so hard, um day and night, 8 hours they travel. Prabhupada was quoting, like, I think this lecture was given somewhere in Bombay, and Prabhupada was quoting, people travel so far from other rural towns. They travel, come work, they go back home. What is two things they do? One is sleeping, other is working. Whole morning they work, in the night they sleep. So that's only two things. But for a devotee, they understand what is goal of life. Even the devotees work, still they know that they're doing it. You have a house, you have a deities in a house. So the reason I go out and work is I can serve them, I can offer naivedya to the Lord, I can cook bhoga to them and serve them. So that is what we always our consciousness should be. And Prabhupada was mentioning, and that really touched me a lot actually. And that example, Prabhupada actually he was very heavy. People wants to only either sleep, sex life, enjoyment, this. But devotees, that is not the goal of life. You should come out of this consciousness. And Prabhupada was very happy. I was thinking, wow, I should really apply that in my day-to-day life actually. Bhaginandan, Prabhu, you want to add something? Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, repeat. Prabhuji, add
I
something.
like the point when you said, I was thinking how the rivers are polluted because the heart is polluted. I was remembering like I think Maharaj was going in the airport,
Yeah, that makes sense.
somebody interrupted. I was just thinking how like Maharaj intelligence immediate answer was everything. If somebody asked me, what are you doing for the earth? Then it is a challenging question. Is Maharaj intelligent? And you're working on the root cause.
And very hard to take also actually.
Very hard to answer that, like this presence of mind and everyone like not feeling. Like how people are, they always anybody like, who is doing so much, they want to pretend come.
Ah.
So I was reflecting how uh, the actual reason of pollution is a pollution. But it's a very deep statement.
Yes, bro. Very hard to understand. You'll think, no, if I have problem in my heart, how am I polluting water, right? Please add something.
I like that you mentioned that how uh, um, we have to make people happy. That's the goal of our preaching is to actually make people happy. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I feel like spreading Krishna consciousness is an endeavor, but at the same time, it has to be awarded also. Those who are able to spread Krishna consciousness successfully, um, they have special mercy of Guru and Krishna. That's why they're able to change people's lives. Like I was thinking, like for example, new person you bring to Krishna consciousness, like he's a karmi, he wasn't doing anything, and then you bring him, then make him to start chanting, then after that, finally first initiation, second initiation, then you go back to Godhead. So you are actually becoming an important instrument to change his life, probably whatever an instrument. Otherwise, you probably would have stayed here for millions of lifetimes, and it's like a huge difference. Like it's this side and that side, north and south. You're completely changing his life.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
that is like
I was like,
paradigm shift actually.
I was like, if someone is able to bring so many people and change their life so much, then unless Krishna is very pleased, you cannot do that. You can't do that. So I was thinking that's we should try as Prabhupada's instruction, but then at the same time, mm, yeah, I mean, unless Krishna is pleased, we cannot do anything, and it's yeah, I mean, one time it's also Saladar Maharaj was saying that how do you get respect for Guru? He said, try to do something first, then you will understand. Try. So try to start some program, try, see what happens. Then you can see all these gurus, they're like initiating like this, spreading like this, so like, it's like drinking water, so I'm giving it to 100 people today, no problem. And today I'm speaking to like, so it's like what people are looking for is people are looking for Krishna, people are looking for that enthusiasm, that taste. If it is not there, you get bored. Like, yeah, कुछ energy नहीं लग रहा है, खाली खाली लग रहा है. You don't hear anyone speaking like that in pure devotee classes. So unless you really please Krishna to that extent, you cannot do that work. I was thinking, yeah, that's incredible. Like
You're doing so much, project.
no, I'm saying it's incredible that someone changes the life of of someone like was in second initiation. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And so many people like that, it's changing means, yeah, it's very, like, see, it's very easy to lose faith in someone, right? If you are retaining,
Yeah.
someone is retaining 15, 20 years, and it's really incredible, right? Really incredible. So I was just thinking that I need to humble myself that I'm living amongst devotees who are much more, many times millions more dear to Krishna and dear to Radharani. So I need their, I need to please them. That's the intelligent thing to do.
For me, that's true, bro. How much energy, blood is needed to bring somebody to that state of first initiation, second initiation, and help them, progress, right? And like that's so much energy actually there. And for me, always this really touched me, bro. Honestly, like how we build this as a community. We want to make this as a community. That's really, it's awestruck me actually when I heard for first time. Hey, this is our consciousness for starting this place, this center, you know and we are actually doing that actually. So many people comfort, so much of help whenever they have anything, see any problem. And the first at this example I quoted, right, that guy first time he came to a temple after 6 years he came here. I was thinking, "Arre baap re, the purpose is getting." I think you just stay in connection with people, that community. They're looking for that community help. And because there are so many devotees, I know, where like they help, if there is some opening here and there, job or whatever, right? That community, we are actually able to do that. So that really helped actually. I think we should carry that same mood, that way we can become more successful. Actually, that is one of my very catchy point. Somebody comes, when I speak about this, people love it actually very much. I loved it. Good.
Yeah, all great souls. I was thinking now
Mhm.
that, when a pure devotee, advanced devotee, like yesterday I was just seeing, I went to book distribution, and I was just looking, you also, bro, just looked at one person and he smiled. He said, "How are you?" I said, "Wow, so attractive." He's smiling so attractively. I am becoming so attracted. So he was attracted. I'm like, wow. I was thinking that when exalted devotees they speak, actually they're actually giving Krishna's attraction. And that's like, when pure devotee it will be okay, then you really feel like it will be okay.
Mhm.
By going say it will be okay, they'll be like, yeah, I don't feel anything. Get lost. So I was thinking that, wow, Krishna is amazing. I mean, what devotees are doing are amazing. That they're distributing Krishna's love and Krishna's attraction rather than his love. It's like incredible.
Great. True, bro. Any comments from online? We can end. Thank you. Vandana Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
HG Harichakra Prabhu.